King Saul's spear, Pharaoh's heart, and the leadership problem beneath the surface. Why would a loving God allow Pharaoh's heart to be hardened? Why would he allow a distressing spirit to overcome King Saul? Welcome to the 10 Commandments of Leadership podcast, where we educate, equip, and empower emerging leaders with God-thought leadership, and we present current events and news makers in the light of best practices from the Bible. And today is no exception. That question that I asked earlier stopped me cold while reading 1 Samuel chapter 19, verse 9. The answer I kept coming back to is this: God's permission is not always the same as his approval. Sometimes God permits what he does not endorse in order to expose, discipline, test, or judge what is already happening in the human heart. Job was tested. Pharaoh was confirmed in a rebellion he kept choosing. King Saul was unraveling under the weight of jealousy, insecurity, fear, and disobedience. That makes Saul more than a Bible character with anger issues. He becomes a leadership case study. By the time King Saul hurled the spear at David, the throw was only the symptom. The deeper issue was internal, unmanaged ego, and unresolved fear and resistance to truth. In today's terms, Saul didn't have a spear problem. He had a soul problem. That is where leadership often rises or falls. The greatest threat is not always the enemy outside the leader. It is the jealousy, insecurity, pride, and fear operating within the leader. Pressure does not create everything in us. Sometimes it reveals what has been living there all along. That is why real leadership development must go below the surface before we can blame the devil, our staff, the critics, or the times. We may need to ask ourselves a harder question. What is this pressure revealing about me? In a culture obsessed with image, platform, and control, King Saul's story still warns us. Leaders who refuse inner work eventually act out outer damage. The spear in the hand often starts with the disorder in the heart. And here's a final word. Do not wait until you throw the spear to admit you need healing. Thank you for joining us for the 10 Commandments of Leadership podcast each weekday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Time on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. We'll see you then, and we'll see you there. Bye-bye.